From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your evening update.
A few clouds in the sky today, not too much in the way of that. Plenty of sunshine, and that's led to hot temperatures today. Here's satellite and radar composite showing the main bulk of the rainfall in the clouds well off to the east over eastern Georgia and the Carolinas with Tropical Storm Debbie. All that's staying off to our east, not affecting our local weather here and not expected to as we go forward through the rest of the week. But we do have big weather changes for the weekend, including cooler temperatures coming. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We would certainly welcome cooler temperatures around here. 93 degrees this afternoon at the Lawrenceburg Airport after a morning low down to 68. No rainfall in the bucket, not expected through the week. We do start to ease rain chances into the forecast locally in hit or miss fashion, at least as we head into the first part of next week, but not until then. Muscle Shoals Airport got to 98 officially this afternoon. We briefly saw it hit 99, but the records here, 98 degrees. No rainfall today either in Muscle Shoals. None expected across any part of the area until we head into the first part of next week. It's going to be dry around here for several more days. Mostly clear this evening, dropping on down to the 90s into the 80s pretty quickly, and then the 70s. And then most of us down into the low to mid 70s by daybreak, although a few spots could briefly get down into the upper 60s in those sheltered valleys. Can't rule that out. A few clouds moving through, but partly cloudy skies through the day. We get back to the low to mid 90s for daytime highs, but partly cloudy skies, and then fall back into the low to mid 70s tomorrow night and the Thursday morning as well. More of the same for Thursday, partly cloudy, low to mid 90s. Partly cloudy and low to mid 90s. Maybe a few more clouds for Friday, but a frontal system moving through later in the day on Friday gets cooler temperatures in here in time for the weekend. Northerly flow, drier air into the 80s for daytime highs over the weekend. Check this out. Now, these numbers are a midpoint average between southern Middle Tennessee and northwest Alabama. Southern Middle Tennessee will actually be a couple degrees cooler than this over the weekend. Mid to upper 80s for daytime highs expected, lower 60s as a midpoint average by Sunday morning and Monday morning. I do think much of southern Middle Tennessee will see upper 50s by Sunday morning. I can't completely rule that out. As far south as the Shoals in northwest Alabama, some comfortable air coming just in time for the weekend. But a few more days of hot weather before we get there. We're watching Tropical Storm Debbie very carefully, not affecting the local forecast, but we know that we have friends and family off to the east into the Carolinas and Georgia, and people also have interest out there. So we're tracking it for you, moving east-northeast at 3 miles per hour, just offshore of the Savannah area. Maximum sustained winds down to 40, but it will strengthen a little bit before making a second landfall here over the next 24 to 48 hours as a tropical storm on the South Carolina coast. Been bringing big time flooding to the Carolinas here. That's expected to continue. Also been bringing a few significant tornadoes to the Carolinas as well, but that will not affect our local area. That will be pushing out to the north and east. We're watching another system out in the Southwest Caribbean that has at least a low probability of developing into a tropical system over the next several days here at National Hurricane Center, holding that at 30% chance of development, but models aren't too aggressive with development so far. So we'll watch it here as we go through the next several days. We're just starting to get into the more active part, climatologically speaking, of the Atlantic hurricane season. Dropping out of the 90s into the 80s this evening, 70s overnight. Most of us into the low to mid 70s, but I can't rule out a few sheltered valleys in the upper 60s. Low to mid 90s here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Partly cloudy skies each day, and then a bit cooler for the weekend. Mid to upper 80s for daytime highs here with mostly sunny skies. Overnight lows in the 60s over the weekend, and maybe upper 50s for many of us as we head into Sunday morning. I think if the data continues to look like this tonight and tomorrow morning, by the midday and afternoon shows tomorrow, we will probably have upper 50s there on the board. And then we start to see the chance of a few thunder showers coming in to the forecast as we enter the first half of next week. There's your latest 7-day forecast. I'll be back at 9 o'clock with a final check of your local weather.